my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to coverage, of course, as always, of the Northwest Racing Series Cup Truck every Monday, Thursday night. Tonight it's Truck Racing, Truck Thursday. We got you covered. This is iRacing on LSRTV. Good evening to you. I'm Big Red Wesley, and we got the man in black right there. It ain't Mr. Johnny Cash. It's Samuel Dyer, and we welcome you to our coverage. Of course, man, always behind the scenes is Charles Wooten running the board buttons. We'll let you know, Samuel, whether it's Texas or here in North Carolina. It seems like every time for the last month we get ready for an iRacing broadcast, there is a threat of weather. I just got a notification that said severe thunderstorm warning in my location, but I'm going to stay here with you. And if something does happen, Samuel will step in until I can come back. But, hey, man, No Limits, Texas is where we're at tonight. These trucks are going to go 220.5 miles, a 147-lap race, which is actually one of the longest distance races on an intermediate track that me and you were talking about in our production meeting here earlier. What do you think we're going to see here tonight at Texas? And by the way, this is round 10.
Yeah, round 10. It should be a good one. This is finishing out our intermediate 4-race streak that we just went on, where we've already seen 3 different winners. We'll see if we can get a 4th different winner this go around at Texas. But here tonight, going to be seeing a lot more strategy. Like you said, this is the longest intermediate race that we've had. We actually started out this streak with only a 10-lap intermediate race to now it's 147. More laps means more chances of strategy. And based on what we're hearing from the drivers, fuel could be the big factor for tonight's race.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Of course, what we talked about is normally we're used to seeing these guys go 134 laps. You're going to add on another 15 or less to that, and it's going to be a wild battle here for these guys. And, of course, Samuel, there's still a lot of racing to go. I can't per se say that you look at Cole Raz and Lake Peterson and what they're doing on the Cup side of things on Monday night. It is across the board so competitive with this truck program here every week.
Yeah, I mean, for the truck side, we're now going into race number 10, but we only have 2 drivers that have won twice this season. That being, Scene, Cole Raz with 2 wins, and Kevin Smith with 2 wins. Those are going to be 2 drivers to watch out for here tonight, but then we got a long streak of drivers with just 1 win. We were going through a very long spree of drivers, just one after another, just seeing drivers getting their first wins of the season. And you look at the list of drivers, Wesley, Kane Anderson still hasn't won. Dan West Jr. still hasn't won. Sean Bridesman's still looking for his first win. That whole entire LSRTV team is looking for a win, except for John Ombacher, who won the first race of the season. So there's a lot of heavy hitter drivers that we know that can get to victory lane, still winless as we're here at round number 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting and fun. And, of course, you got the NASCAR All-Star race at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend, so I think it's only cool and fitting that the Truck Series will be here. Once again, a quick reminder, broadcast update. Remember that this is the final race until we take off next week. So, remember, next Thursday night, if you come here, me and Samuel won't be here. We're off for Memorial Day. So everybody have a happy and safe Memorial Day, man. I'm getting ready for the Indianapolis 500 and so many other cool stuff as well. So, hey, let's go trackside now here at Texas Motor Speedway and get ready to show you some of the cool things going on track here at this facility right now. And, of course, You see, now listen, no rain, but those are some threatening dark clouds here, Samuel, at Texas Motor Speedway as we get ready to go under the lights. It looks like it's outside at my yard right now.
Yeah, it looks dangerous, but luckily the iRacing rain, simulator and the rain aspect that iRacing's been teasing for quite a while for these last couple of months still isn't in iRacing, but the weather, Wesley, it's looking cool. This is going to be a very nice race for these drivers, but the race, it's going to be going into nighttime, so these cloud coverage shouldn't be affecting too much, and the track temp should only drop maybe about a degree or two overall for tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Sorry about that. We showed you the weather conditions, of course. It's very cloudy and dark, but it's actually clear skies right now. So let's take a look at the race information 411 for tonight. Of course, we mentioned as we came on the air, Samuel and I, 147 laps. That's 220.50 miles to the decimal. Props to Charles Wooten putting in the calculator and letting us know the exact amount, 220.5 miles, if you will. One fast repair is given in case the trucks get tore up. 2-lap lone qualifying runs will be coming up here. Of course, I think that's already been done. A fuel window, 42 to 45 laps. 2 attempts at a green-white checker overtime if necessary. And again, 45-plus laps on tires. And why do we say that, 45-plus? Because you could probably stretch your tire run, Samuel, from 45 to even 60 laps if you're lucky.
Yeah, and with that little bit of change, if we get some quick early cautions, some drivers might think about just coming into pit road. If we get an early caution around lap 5 to lap 10, you might want to come in to fuel up so you can stretch it out because those tires will still be alive.
And while we're doing that, let's take a look at Samuel and I's keys to victory. Actually, we've got Samuel, Wesley, and our producer Charles has put his 2 cents down there in the LSRTV keys to victory tonight. Samuel, you got a pretty big one there at the top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, this race last season, it went practically green the whole entire time. We only had 1 caution, meaning you cannot make any mistakes. Avoid those mistakes on green flag pit stops, and that's going to be a key thing. We've seen mistakes already in these early first 9 races of this season. You got to clean that up, especially if no yellow flag comes out late here tonight.
Another one they're going to be watching, of course, is keys to victory number 2. Clean air is a premium, so track position is also going to be as well. So here's the deal. If you're not catching on to that scenario, basically, if you're the lead truck and you're in front of clean air, stay out in front and try to lead as many laps as you can, Samuel.
Yeah, if you can qualify well, you're going to be up front. Also, could be seeing some drivers think about, potential tire fuel strategies, ideas for themselves. And talking about tires, they are going to run further than the fuel. So drivers have to be making a decision. Do you want to save your fuel, save the tires? When do you want to pit for tires? They've got 4 extra sets in pit road. So there's a little bit of strategy in games we play there.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll watch them. Hey, Justin Yee is back. Justin Yee in the number 66 machine, 8th their entry. And that is the lineup as well. Let's give you your starting lineup here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to go to racing here at No Limits, Texas. Of course, qualifying already done. Drivers meeting just wrapped up. Row number 1, Caden Anderson could tonight be the night for the Yakima Washington native. He starts in the 37 to the outside. Justin Yee in the 66. Row 2, we'll find Cole Rass. Obviously, 3-time winner on the Cup Series, 2-time winner this year. And Kevin Smith, ironically, a 2-time winner, right alongside of the 00. Row 3, Jeff Stabnow. You got to think he's due to his outside. Another driver, Billings, Montana, Stabnow. Shelton, Washington, 55. Dan West Jr., 2-time defending series champion. 2020 Cup Series champion Sean Breitzman in the 46 from Tucson, Arizona. And Dennis Moore with a couple of wins this year. He's got 1 win in the 44. He'll start 8th. Starting 9th, Casey Garber in the number 94 machine to the outside. Stephen O'Hare, the 41, your top 10.
Then back in row number 6, we got the Catman, James Vining in that 333 machine, feeling like he's got a strong long-run pace for that machine. We'll see how well he can climb his way through later on with the 25, Orion Bloomer, ARCA Series champion of last season. Back here for row number 6. Row 7, our Daytona winner in the beginning of the season, John Ottbacher for the 89. With that of Casey Duncan to his outside for row number 7. Row 8, it's going to be Toby Ritters in that 23 with Paul Newton in the 27 before that of row number 8. Row 9, Dean Moore in the 33. With the way that he's been qualifying, kind of a shocker being this deep in the field. With that of Brian Reynolds in the 12 to his outside. Finishing out our top 20, going to be that of Cameron Iverson and Troy Daggett in the 51.
It's going to be Dan Lowther now, row 11 of the 63 to the outside. Robert Gamble in the 54 truck. Row number 12, starting with Brett Johnson in the 7. Chris White, last year's Cup Series champion, in the number 6. Row number 13, Vinnie McDonald, 43 to the outside. The legend of the top 3 finish in the majors, Indy 500 for the American Sportsman Circuit, Carl Berg. Row 14, Dana Rogers in the 07. Of course, B.J. Duvall, the Outlaw Motorsports entry, originally from the native out of West Virginia, will start 28th. Row number 15, Angel Ortega in the 68, and Aaron Cooper, Cup runner-up finisher at Daytona. He'll start 30th. Rest of the rundown, B.J. Tindrick in 72, Ray Fournier in the 26. Row 17, Frank Harris and Tyler Kim, 34. Starters along with Chris Camary inside row number 18 by himself. 35 trucks in their virtual kaleidoscope of colors ready to go. Here's some notable entries to keep an eye on. Some that have been doing well, some that are hot, you're hot, some that have been going on a slump and could possibly turn it around tonight, like Jeff Stabnow, the 2021 runner-up here in Texas last year. The field is ready. 35 trucks make their way to the starters box here. No Limits, Texas. We're ready for 220 miles in the O'Reilly Auto Parts starting zone. Green flag goes in the air. Truck, yeah. Thursday, yeah. We're racing. And we already got trucks wrecking in the tri-oval. Dan Lowther, Brett Johnson. No caution yet, though, Samuel.
Yeah, they're going to be off the racing surface, so no yellow is going to be thrown, but that is the worst-case scenario for Dan Lowther, Brett Johnson, and Brian Reynolds. Those 3 trucks now going to be taking off in a miserable start for their race.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to come out of the gate either, right out with a problem right there. So problems for those trucks. They'll quickly try to get started, and they got to think they're hoping that they can get a caution flag. If not, they might go a lap down or more, as you already see a truck down below the bottom of the apron. Meanwhile, it's Caden Anderson leading the Cavalry down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that driver you saw on the apron, that was Dana Rogers, who started on pit road. Now going to be our first driver a lap down, as Caden Anderson, Justin Yee taking you out of turn number 4.
Field works their way out of turn 4, back across start finish. There's the man of the number 66, Justin Yee. Missed him in the Cup race, of course. We talk about super friends, and you talk about Justin Yee, Caden Anderson, Lake Peterson, and Cole Raz, all those guys hooking up with one another. They compete with one another. They race with one another. And right now, super friends, 1, 2, and 3 to the back straightaway.
Yeah, Justin Yee, we haven't seen this 66 all season long. Last time we saw Justin Yee was back at Daytona at the start of this season, where he finished 18th. So that's 64, wanting to get a good run for himself. But one of our drivers of note, Jeff Stabnow, currently running in 4th place here, Wesley, and as well another driver of note, Dan West Jr., his teammate, trying to make the pass on that of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those drivers as they work their way back off of turn 2 to the back straightaway. Little wheel and deal, little outside lane from the inside. Dennis Moore sizing up Dan West Jr. Kevin Smith up on the outside lane. They work off of turn 4. Good racing here in the early going. Besides that calamity on the start, we never saw the yellow flag fly, but man, these guys are going at it. It's No Limits, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, we thought honestly almost at our first yellow. Again, last season only had 1 yellow the whole entire race. And we don't get the yellow here immediately on lap number 1 on that tire spin issues of seeing the drivers that were around that 17th, 20th, and 22nd position of the 3 drivers, Dan Lowther, Brian Reynolds, and Brett Johnson. But this battling that's going on here on screen, Jeff Stabnow as well, trying to move up on that of Cole Raz and doing a decent job for this 24. And Wesley, for Jeff Stabnow, this has been kind of the trend of these races. Very aggressive in the early going and then burns off those tires. And it could be a factor here tonight of not having to worry about those tires as much because tire wear isn't as much of a factor as fuel is going to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Something we'll definitely keep an eye on, my friend, as the field works their way back across start finish here off of turn 4. Stabnow battling Cole Raz for 3rd. He's up on the outside lane, looking to try to clear him. put Raz to fourth. He's going to try to carry DWJ with him in that blue and white 55. You know, Samuel, Dan West Jr. wants to turn it around. He's kind of had an up and down roller coaster hot cold year in that 55, the defending Truck Series champion 2 years in a row, and they go to 3.
Yeah, I mean, for Dan West Jr., he's currently at a 15th in points. His best finish all season long, 8th place at that Atlanta and Las Vegas. As we've been on this intermediate streak, Dan West Jr. has found a little bit more consistency for himself. He's been finishing inside the top 15. This is exactly what really the remedy for the 55's woes to start out the season. Again, 15th in points for the back-to-back champion. He needs to get a good solid run, potentially a top 5 here tonight if he wants to keep on this momentum.
Yeah, we'll see if he can continue that momentum, as right now the field working their way back across off of turn 4, coming back down to the start finish line here at No Limits, Texas, round 10 here tonight. And right now, closing in on 140 laps remaining, Anderson is the man that is setting charge. And you got to think, Samuel, after the crazy race at Charlotte in the Cup race, Anderson comes so close, he had to settle for second to his super friend, Cole Raz. Anderson wants to get back to victory lane as well.
Yeah, and this is the perfect race for that of Kate Anderson. Is right on board with 41. Stephen O'Hare, who found himself in victory lane during this intermediate streak. As the 41 is riding right now in 8th place. But for that of Kate Anderson, he dominated this race last season at Texas. Out of all the 434 laps that were ran, he led 125 of those laps. And again, the race stayed primarily green. Now he's got some competition here to worry about. That last race, he didn't have that Cole Raz. He didn't have Blake Peterson on that back bumper to be pressuring this 37. Here tonight, he's got a lot more competition than he did last season.
Closing in, 10 laps in now at this race here in Texas. It's Caden Anderson, Justin Yee, Jeff Stabnow, Cole Raz, Dennis West Jr. top 5, Dennis Moore, Kevin Smith, Casey Garber, followed by Stephen O'Hare and Sean Brightsman top 10. We got a battle going on for second, so for the lead now. Here comes Justin Yee. He wants to pull along the machine of Anderson out of turn 4.
I mean, Justin Yee from that Enterprise Racing team, when partnered up with Blake Peterson, I mean, he's been so good on the Cup side of things, but now looking for an opportunity to win here in the trucks. But they've got to get themselves rolling here. And Jeff Stabnow pressuring, and with that of Dan Lather involved with that incident to start out this race right when we started. That 63 could be an issue if he doesn't get out of the way. It looks like he'll go to the high line, just trying to give as much space as possible here.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on as they work their way again right off of turn 4. Lather up the hill. That's one of those trucks, if you remember, that got into the tri-oval grass during the start of this race on the front straightaway. And they work their way through the dog leg. A little contact there, a little razzle-dazzle, if you will, ever. Cole Raz on Dan West Jr. Sean Brightsman, well, correction, that's actually Stabnow. And Sean Brightsman has just clicked into the top 10. While that goes on, this battle heating up for third into turn number 3.
As these drivers are battling right now, just want to give a quick update of drivers back in last place that were able to connect in the server. Talk about Dana Rogers starting on pit road, going to be 33rd, 1 lap down, but Dean Moore, a driver we were expecting a top 15, top 10 run this evening, that 33 did not start on the grid. Finally has gotten on track, and for Dean Moore, he's going to be 8 laps down.
Raz looking on the inside, trying to make a run on Yee, or Stabnow actually. While that goes on, this is the tailgate of the back of the number 3 position truck, Billings, Montana, Jeff Stabnow. Raz just cannot seem to open the door there, as they must have a little contact going back to turn 1.
And that's that aggressive pinching and blocking maneuver that we saw there from Jeff Stabnow, trying to really put the pressure on the 10 full Raz. Raz, again, one of 2 drivers that have won twice this season. And Raz, after getting his win on Monday, I think a lot of drivers want to beat him out. As Jeff Stabnow, oh boy, that 24, he is holding on, as that was a very sketchy turns 3 and 4.
Got a thought there for a second. The handling might have been going on the 24 truck. Here comes now Raz, almost down below the apron in the grass, if you will, trying to make a move now on Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow jumps up about another car length in front of that machine, down to the bottom of Raz. Dan West Jr. right behind him. Top 5, single file as they go to 3.
Usually when you come to these intermediate tracks, turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, they're all pretty similar. As Jeff Stabnow still, you've seen that rear end, it just wants to kick out. He is constantly working that wheel through 3 and 4. And the reason why, he has to try to practically go full throttle through turns 3 and 4 to set up going into turns 1 and 2. The entry to turns 1 and 2, you have to let off the throttle to even make it through the corner. Very different between the entry of turn 1 and turn 3, as these drivers are trying to maximize their momentum. That's why Jeff Stabnow, he's got to work this wheel. If he lets off the throttle at all, he's giving the opening to the 10.
We are live on iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network at wearecrn.com, 87.5 FM at the Triangle, and round number 10 for the trucks, the drivers of the virtual Pacific Northwest, ready to go. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outlet here with you. Awesome job if you're watching the production by Charles Wooten for iRacing on LSRTV and Rocket Media. It is no change right now in the top 5. Stabnow trying to change that up, though, as he tries to make a run on the outside, and Raz and West in that battle into 1.
And right now, Dan West Jr. trying to figure out which lane is going to get moving. Will it be Jeff Stabnow or will it be Cole Raz? The 55 has to be playing patient here. Don't overcook those tires too much. Yes, tire wear isn't the biggest factor. It's more fuel, as the window for these drivers, lap 24, that of 42 to that of lap 45. So these drivers about coming up to halfway from when they're thinking about coming into pit road. They've got to be playing a little bit of mind games on how they want to use up their tires. This is the shortest fuel run at these intermediate tracks that they've had all season. So they've got to be playing those patient games on when you want to stretch the fuel or maybe do an undercut.
So lap number 74 will be, or actually, yes, lap 74 will be halfway for this race. Just wanted to make sure I was doing the math correctly, because normally we do about 67, and of course 67 is 134 laps, 200 miles. But again, Samuel, we're going 220.5 miles tonight. So actually lap 74, and then 73 circuits after that will be the race distance tonight, 147 laps. And right now, all eyes are on Anderson, the leader, but there goes up Otto now. I mentioned Sean Brightsman. He's trying to run down Kevin Smith for 8th position down the back straightaway.
Yeah, right now, all the drivers in the top 7 have either stayed in the same position they were in or have moved forward if you've qualified in the top 10. And of the drivers that qualified in the top 10, that of Kevin Smith and Sean Brightsman, runners in 8th and 9th position. They are the 2 drivers that have actually lost positions from where they qualified. Maybe a little bit of patience on these tires could backfire if they lose the draft to our front 7, as right now Kevin Smith and Bridesman continue to race on. But Wesley, internet issues striking that above, guys. Aaron Cooper, he has disconnected from the server.
That's a tough break there for Mr. Aaron Cooper, of course, besides that runner-up finish at Daytona. Other than that, in the Cup race, he's kind of had a solemn year, if you will. But, we'll try our best. Internet issues, weather issues. We're having some technical internet issues in the studio as well as here. We've got a storm outside my house right now. Matter of fact, it's lightning. So, we'll keep on staying with you here as right now the field works their way to the back straightaway. It is Caden Anderson, Samuel, leading the way. Justin Yee second. Ryan Bloom now in the top 10. He's trying to get passed by Stephen O'Hare, who's got a couple of good top 3 finishes this year in the trucks off turn 4.
Yeah, Ryan Bloom up 2 positions from where he qualified. This 25 lane, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ryan Bloom. He's waiting, he's being patient, and setting up each driver in front of him on how he wants to make this pass. So close in very shyly into the driver ahead of him. And Kevin Smith right now for the 00, he is very much off the pace, running about 3 to 2/10 off of what the leaders are running. The 00 of Kevin Smith in 9th place position right in front of Ryan Bloom. I'm concerned for this 00 machine.
And we'll watch them again as they work their way back across the start-finish line. Kevin Smith already 2 wins on the year for the driver, of course. I think he won in Kansas, and he also won the race at the Richmond Raceway, round number 2 of the series was. He's right now doing good, willing and dealing, if you will, still in the early going.
Let's wrap on board with that of Clifford, Toby Ritters, and get an onboard cam at what Toby Ritters' setup looks like as he's on track, currently running in 14th place. And Wes, right now, one of our VR drivers is Toby Ritters, as you can see what's on his monitor, what he sees in the movement of his physically having to move his head to see around what's in his cockpit virtually.
Season 9 of the Northwest Open Setup Truck Series here tonight, Texas Motor Speedway. I said it was the Richmond winner and the Kansas winner. Of course, that man right there, the other driver with 2 wins this year, is, of course, Mr. Cole Raz. He won Darlington, and he won last week in a pretty wild one in Charlotte. You're on board. James Vining, the Cat Man, 333. Samuel, I got to hang out in the Da Vinci Racing chat box last night while I finished working with you in the Crown Jewel Late Model Stock Series. What a wild event that was in Sobo. Archives are up on the iRacing on LSRTV YouTube channel. And just had a great conversation talking with James and with Frank Harris, Robert Gamble. Just awesome guys, man. It was so cool to just be able to just talk life and talk about something besides iRacing with these guys. And it was great conversation.
I will say, though, James Vining, if you want to talk iRacing, he will tell you everything. I think he's the biggest wealth of knowledge that helps us in the booth each and every week. He talks about each practice session, how that car's feeling, and it is so nice to have him. James Vining, thank you so much for every time you give us that information. As here's the battle for 8th place. That Casey Garvin now under fire of Kevin Smith, who's finally saying, I want to start moving forward.
Yeah, you think of this, watch what's now going on here. Smith now ready to try to come back to the front. Garver up on the outside. Lay the contact. Made a little bump there. Garver has a drive evasively to keep it off the wall. And now he's got Bloom and Johnson around him as they work into 3.
Yeah, that's Johnson and O'Hare really coming in with the pressure, and that 41 trying to stay off of that of Casey Garver. But Garver now falling back. It was an 8, now down to 11 after losing that position to the 41.
Says, let's stay out of trouble now. Let's be nice and be friends. Come off the corner. Working off of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. And now you see, well, I remember Brett Johnson now. He's one of those trucks that are a lap down, or 3 laps down, actually, being caught up in that start of the race with the calamity in the grass. No caution flag was thrown. And I got to say something, Samuel. This is probably one of the longest green flag runs we've had for the Northwest competition this year. 30 laps and no yellow flag yet.
Well, I mean, there's some ways of jinxing their race, I guess, Wesley.
Not trying to jinx anything. I'm just making an analogy.
I mean, it isn't. I mean, Texas, like we put on our keys to victory. First key last season only had 1 yellow, and so the possibility of this race running green was very high for all these drivers. I think everyone recognizing it, and that could have been the why Sean Bryansman and Kevin Smith, they were lingering back for so long, trying to make sure they didn't overdo any of their tires, as see here of Casey Duncan, as well as going to be seeing some other drivers running around that 17 machine. That's going to be Chris White in the 6, changing up his colors here this evening at Texas. But Wesley, that's 17. Hard contact, that rear bumper is pushed in. I think that could be one of our drivers that was involved with our first incident of the day.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that there as those machines work off the corner. There you see the U.S. Army colors of the number 6, Chris White. Nice looking throwback to the military. It's by the way, Memorial Day. We talk about all the cool things, but obviously that Army, the Navy, the National Guard, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and the falling military. Those that continue to serve, we say thank you. For those that have passed, that is what Memorial Day is all about in America, is to pay an homage and remember and to pay respects to the men and women who have fought for our country. And I think that's awesome to have that wrap job on that throwback 6 of Chris White.
Yeah, and this is the last race before the trucks, before we get that off week last week, like you noted on Wesley. So for some of these drivers, this is their time to put out those schemes. I think this upcoming Monday, we're going to see a lot more Memorial Day schemes for the drivers, and that's going to be something fun to watch and see what type of imagination some drivers put into their schemes. As we saw a couple of imagination machines were thrown out there on Monday when we were watching the drivers racing in Charlotte.
We certainly did, and we'll keep an eye on that again next week. Because remember, the truck series will be off next Thursday night, and then we come back for a week off. Then we're off for 4th of July. Then we come back for a stretch of 8 weeks. That will take us all the way to Labor Day. Can you believe it, Samuel? All the way to Labor Day. That's in September. Then you make the run to the playoffs, and before you know it, we crown a champion in mid-November.
Yeah, that's where it's the final push is what I'm excited about. Finally get to those playoffs where the driver's going to be putting it all on the line on who's going to be making it. Only 12 drivers make the playoffs, and already having a couple of drivers with wins, putting the pressure on the rest of the field on how well they're going to be, making it in points-wise. And I think that's why this start of the season, seeing as many drivers as we saw get wins, as Jeff Stubb now dirt tracking it there, Wesley. Woo! At 24.
What a save there. What a save.
Oh, man, Jeff Stubb now is just going to get worse from here. He continues to put the pressure on, and now through 1 and 2, you're starting to see that back end wanting to wiggle free on him. This is, luckily for these drivers, pit stops expected to start. And Casey Duncan's actually going to be the first one to come in. But these drivers, with the amount of drivers that we've seen win so far, Wesley, with 7, that opening of getting a win and you're in, certainly closing.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll keep an eye on that as we watch these guys working their way back around the racetrack here. Of course, Anderson is the man leading the way. And Samuel, another thing we hit it on it as the keys to the race. You got to save your tires. Obviously, your tires might run longer on a spell than the fuel comes. And if we make green flag pit stops, I don't know. I mean, we've got a long green flag run here. We're 40 laps coming up into this race. And in addition to that, Samuel, you might make a pit stop under green flag, and it's all about track position. You might not change tires. You might just add fuel to the truck and take off.
I mean, I'm expecting all these drivers to take tires on these green flag pit stops. That was a strategy they could throw out maybe later on in this race if you feel like, hey, I'm going to save a couple of, seconds here or there. But in this early going, right now, our leader, Caden Anderson, he is running about he is a second and a half off of what his best lap time was compared to the last lap he put down. So for the rest of the field, is Jeff Stubb now still just drifting at each and every lap. I mean, it is certainly a show to watch Jeff Stubb now, but he's losing each and every position. But we're now in that pitting zone. We're in the 3 to 2 lap zone of drivers going to be coming into pit road, which could be seeing some issues if drivers aren't calling out when they're coming into pit road.
Yeah, what's that song by Stevie Ray Vaughan, Walking the Tightrope? That's what a lot of these drivers are doing right now. Hey, some shout-outs to some folks. Obviously, James Thurston in the house. Yes, he's got his hands full. The Ritters family, Team Outlaw Motorsports, Will Duvall, going to have him here again tonight. AOG War Dog, well, 12:29. This will go triple camera for you. He says, evening, LSRTV, enjoying the race so far. We are as well. Though, Samuel, it's been caution-free, 40 laps in.
That it has. A couple of drivers coming to the pit road. That Casey Duncan and Lowther, as well as Dana Rogers, all have come to pit road so far for this race. But we're expecting pit stops to start here any moment here, as we were given the window of 42 to 45 laps. But Wesley, if somehow, like we saw Cole Raz do it on Monday, if you can figure out a way to stretch the fuel, you can get all the way up to lap 49, find a way to cut down a pit stop for these drivers. But that is a lot of work and a lot of fuel saving that you're going to have to do.
Yeah, that is for certain a lot of strategy, if you will. And I don't know if we got any of these guys that, I think of veterans like Sean Brightsman, maybe. We've seen him pull some crazy shenanigans, rabbits out of hats here in Texas. And, but I just still think we're so early into this race. I mean, we're literally coming up on 100 laps to go. It flew by so quickly. And all the while, I mean, we're just literally watching sheer domination by the man that's leading the race right now, by Caden Anderson. And Samuel, you got to think, after, 72 hours ago, where he literally was battling Anderson, was battling Raz, they wrecked each other, had contact, he had to fight back, by the way, didn't have a speeding penalty on pit road. He made the purpose of staying in the pits and came back out and began an ascent to run back down Cole Raz. It just could not get to him. You got to wonder if he's wants to just return the favor here tonight and actually be the guy that's a top dog and get, mind you, Samuel, that first Northwest Truck win of the year. He's got wins in Cup, but not in the Truck Series this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Justin Yee wasn't here, I would say Cole Raz is going to be playing blocker this evening and allowing Kate Anderson to easily just try to walk away with this win, especially with the way that Monday night race went. In my eyes, I think Kate Anderson just gave that to Cole Raz after their wrecking incident. Just based off the tire difference and the way that everyone was driving, Kate Anderson easily could have made that pass on Cole Raz and just gifted it to Raz. So tonight, I'm expecting Raz to try to gift this victory to Kate Anderson if their plan lies out the way that they want, and the cautions that potentially could come out don't screw up their plans.
That's exactly right. Closing in on 100 laps to go. We're also closing in on the top of the hour. Here tonight at No Limits, Texas. Green flag pit stops are ongoing. We're going to we'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the Community Radio Network for coverage of iRacing of the Northwest Truck Series and iRacing on LSRTV. We'll be side by side, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Green flag pit stops are underway here at No Limits, Texas, with now 100 laps to go. Samuel, all these drivers are making pit stops. We just saw Garvin go in, and now Daggett's in 51.
Yeah, and right now with Troy Daggett coming into pit road, with all the drivers coming in, it's a lot of the drivers that were in the middle of the pack coming in, or worse than that, or they're trying to make this pit stop in. Again, these drivers, if they want to figure out how to, if they want to turn this race into just that of a pit stop type of an evening, they're going to want to pit on that of lap 49. That is their goal that they're getting to. And potentially, Wesley, this could race be just a two-stop as you see drivers piling in. That's a big cluster up front. Anderson, Raz, Gee, Bloom, Smith, all into pit road.
So green flag pit stops happening here now. We knew that this was going to be a transition of things to take place. And obviously, as we work down lap number 49, closing on a 50-lap green flag run. Samuel, I find it surprising that we're keeping it under 50 laps before the trucks come in. They're not trying to force the window, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, there was a window that was more so of if you've got, running out there full throttle and not trying to save it all. Your window that we were giving the audience was that 42 to 45. But the rest of the field, I think we're recognizing if we push it immediately and we don't save our fuel, we're not going to be able to turn this race into a two-stop. We're going to have to pit 3 times. And that's why we're seeing these drivers saving and trying to maximize as long as they could stay out. And speaking of staying out, as here's more talked about, don't make mistakes. The 44 did it. Overshot his pit box. Those are the mistakes you cannot make for yourself. And a driver that made the major one, speeding.
Oh,
goes
wow.
to
Stab
Ryan
now.
Bloom,
Stab now.
as well as Vinny McDonald, both going to be caught speeding.
Yeah, look at Jeff Stabnow, Samuel. He had to, literally go forward, go back, go forward, go back twice, and he lost time as well in his pit stall. So
Stephen O'Hare, Dennis Moore, Beaver State Racing drivers, both caught speeding as well into pit road.
My. And literally, Samuel, if you get busted with a speeding penalty, you have to come to the pits. If you don't come to the pits, they give you the meatball flag and you're disqualified.
Well, what they do is when you come in and get speeding into pit road, you're going over the speed limit. They hold you for 40 seconds. And for these drivers, they're ripping around this course at 160, 155 is the lowest speed during these corners. And then you come out at turn 4, and you've got to slow down to 45 miles per hour. And it's difficult, especially with coming in a big cluster in a pack. You can find yourselves not, being distracted on where other drivers are. And now your speed is, oh boy, there goes that of Paul Noon, who gets squirrely trying to get into pit road for himself. But those are those small mistakes that you can make to get caught speeding if you're not paying attention.
So, Samuel, we just watched that on the monitor with the Paul Newton Designs Inchbridge 27 truck coming onto the pit lane. A lot of damage on his front end. So I'm noticing when you commit to come to the pits, let our viewers know.
Yellow flag.
Different cautions out. Cautions out. First time tonight in Texas.
And it's going to be Kim trying to come into pit road.
Wow. And you know, Samuel, this would be a perfect segue in the question that I was going to ask you, because we're seeing Tyler Kim spin where I was going to ask you at. Where that green cone is that the section cone where you have to literally be at pit road speed? Because if not, that's where they'll bust you past that.
Yeah, if you are not down to 45 miles per hour or less at that cone, you will be caught speeding. But this incident, Tyler Kim was slow, was on the apron, but then drifted up in front of that. James Vining got spun around, and that's what brings out the yellow. But yeah, that cone that was just knocked by Kim, that is your cone that you have to be down to 45 miles per hour. And once you get to that cone, if you are not slow enough, you will be caught speeding.
And the caution flag is out for the first time tonight. Obviously, a cycle of green flag pit stops were ongoing. And now the yellow flag will surface. Drivers that did not pit are obviously going to be pitting right now. As you see, Duncan, limeade entry. You know, Samuel, when I see that Toyota, I think of LimeWire. Do you remember LimeWire back in the day when that used to be the music hacker thing?
Yeah, everyone would go to LimeWire to make sure that they got the right music for themselves. Yeah,
sure did. Yeah, that's what Lime looks like. The Lime. Look at the yellow lights on the and by the way, that's all real. When you go to No Limits Texas Motor Speedway, you go to the racetrack, you see all that with the caution lights on the wall blinking on the fence. It's really cool.
And Wesley, with the timing of that yellow, the majority of the field actually have done most of their pit stops. So we are left with officially just that of 20 drivers on the lead lap. Paul Newton's going to be trying to take a wave around here to get back on the lead lap, but Caden Anderson and everyone else had already come into pit road, and this is going to be putting the drivers that try to do what we call an undercut of pitting sooner than everyone else, using up their tire wear to try to gain an advantage on the drivers that were around them. This is going to be hurting them. Carl Berg, as well as that of going to be seeing Casey Garber that come into pit road early. They're not going to be on those older tires. 5th and 6th position are both those machines. This could be an interesting restart for the rest of the field around them on how they're going to have to react, as well as only have 20 drivers on the lead lap already. With Aaron Cooper out of this race, our only DNF. This is a small field of drivers on the lead lap here, Wesley.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'll tell you, as we watch Johnson now get ready to come to the pit lane, of course, he got caught up in that angle in the grass at the start. No yellow flag was thrown. This is the first caution of the race. You're not going to see anybody come to the pits unless you're in the back of the pack, maybe. I mean, I see the front runners staying in their position. They're going to be right there where they're at. And cautions, precautions, Samuel. And I think we're going to have to certainly keep an eye on here as we'll get ready for this restart too.
Yeah, that's will we see the same wheel spin issue? Could that strike again? Also, interesting call. Sean Breitzman coming into pit road here with the 1 to go marker. Was with 2 to go with the lights going to be on, but taking fuel for that 46 machine. He's going to come into pit road top off, trying to stay out a little bit further than everybody else.
I'm telling you, that's that strategy that Sean Breitzman does. We see him do it a lot. So he's one of those guys that definitely can roll the dice. Hey, if you need an iRacing setup, there's more than 60+ iRacing car setups available from Majors Garage. To sign up, click the link in chat now or in the broadcast description. Majors Garage, of course, proud sponsor of the Major Series, coming off of that exciting, iconic, inaugural one for iRacing on LSRTV, the 10th running of the Majors Series Indy 500. We did the American Sportsman split with Justin Prince, Samuel, and myself, and man, what a fun time it was. And I think that's probably one of the highlight broadcasts of iRacing on LSRTV, Samuel. It was an honor.
It really was. That was, just being a part of that big event and one of our crown jewels of the Major Series, the race that made the Major Series want to become the series that it is. So it was certainly an honor for the three of us to be a part of.
And, of course, the next round of the Major Series will be in action, and that will be the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Of course, that will be, of course, on Sunday, June the 5th. Sunday, June the 5th. And then, Samuel, another one that we're looking forward to, we talked about it Sunday night, June 26th. That will be the Coca-Cola World 687 Cup cars with the Monte Carlos and Thunderbirds, the World 600. Of course, that race coming up in 2 weeks is Charlotte, but the World 600 for the Major Series will be the 87 cars. And Samuel, 600 miles, 400 laps in the World 600 for the Major Series. That's June 5th and June 26th.
Yeah, the next streak of racetracks, I think it was my highlights. I mean, we got the Le Mans and then also the World 600. And, I'm excited for the Austrian Grand Prix, the newly scanned and put into iRacing F1 Mercedes machine from last year was scanned, put into iRacing. All the iRacing drivers said there is so much grip in that car, and they're excited to be putting it down on a track for a full-length F1 race.
And, of course, remember, the American Sportsman Circuit for the Major Series is when they run on Sunday nights. You can check it out with iRacing on LSRTV. Field comes back to green after the first caution flag of the race. Lap number 56 completed here. And one thing we'll watch is tire spin. Not problems with the front row, though, Samuel. Let's Anderson back away from Raz off two.
Yeah, no tire spin. We were able to hold on for now for the majority of this field. And right now for that again, Anderson, full Raz, after coming into pit road for the whole entire field, they now have an understanding. That first stint, so much knowledge was gifted, and now they know. Do we need to be more aggressive? Do we need to hold off and save our tires? Let's put it all on the line, as right now the duels between the lead and for third place are on.
Man, it's hard to believe it, Samuel. We're less than 20 laps away, 15 laps away to even halfway in this race as well.
Yeah, it is, when you stay green for a long portion of time, the racing action, it finishes up quickly. Instead of pacing for a minute and a half, these laps, only 30 seconds or a little bit more than that each lap that they put down.
Dustin Yee working his way down off of turn 4 to the stripe, back to turn 1. This is on the back of the tailgate of the machine of Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith has got a nice front grille of Garvin in front of him. Garvin getting some company behind him as well, as those drivers trying to set, sell, and pull from one another as they go to 3.
Yeah, and that driver behind Garvin, that's the 53 of Carl Burke. Burke, biggest mover so far, up 20 positions after taking a strategy call of doing what we call an undercut, pitting before everyone else and getting an advantage because of using those tires and having the fresher tires over everyone else. Up here in 6th place, great run for the 53.
I tell you what, Samuel, and I didn't find this out until the other night when they talked about the Major Series coming off of a creation from the Northwest. And obviously, long-time Northwest commit driver in the Cup and Truck, Mr. Carl Burke, the legend is what I nickname him. And, 65 starts in the Indy 500 Sunday night. And how cool was it to talk to one of our guys that we follow on Monday and Thursday with the Northwest, and he got himself a podium finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a pleasure to be seeing those drivers. I mean, Stephen Paulison's usually one of the runners, as well as that of Robert Gamble, some of the Northwest alumni that get placed into the majors and come racing on Sundays when the majors are racing. So it's always been cool, and it really was a pleasure to have that of Carl Burke up in the booth there after finishing that in the podium position. Yeah,
for sure. And there's Adenbacher, two-time defending truck winner. He won race 1 of the year for the trucks at Daytona. Comfortable run for him right now. The driver, mind you, out of Billings, Montana. Not out of Concord. Billings, Montana. John Adenbacher. There is his man in front of him, the Billings, Montana clan of Stabnow and Adenbacher trying to make some quick work on Iverson and Burke. So that goes on to the top 10 as they work out of 4.
Yeah, again, the big thing I was talking about was that of Carl Burke. He's on the oldest set of tires on everyone on track, so he is going to be struggling compared to the drivers around him. But he's doing a great job defending over that of Cameron Iverson. But Jeff Stabnow, Wesley talked about it that whole entire first stint. After 15 laps into a run, that rear end wanted to kick out, and it was getting worse and worse. Right now, for that 24, he's got to be careful touching the apron. That's how you lose some speed. John Adenbacher just looming and waiting, same for that of BJ Tidrick. But Wesley, some drivers of note that are not on the lead lap. Stephen O'Hare, Dennis Moore caught speeding under our green flag pit stops, as well as Ryan Bloom caught with speeding. And another driver that we were expecting a good night from, Dan West Jr., 1 lap down, back in 23rd position.
Samuel, would you say that it was still suffice to say, coming up on halfway, another, 10 laps to less than 85 laps to go, do you think they could be able to take that penalty and try to, overcome from it and get back in the game?
I mean, I think for O'Hare, Moore, and Bloom, yes, if there was a lot of cautions that were coming out, but if there is no caution or yellow thrown, their races are done. They are going to be stuck where they're at. That's 21st, 22nd, 23rd for O'Hare, Moore, and Bloom. As for our leaders, they're loving this. The drivers that they were most concerned about in some fashions, they have now taken away half of those drivers that were super competitive. Now what they got to worry about is Justin Yee, Kevin Smith, and Casey Garber. 3 drivers that have been competitive in all the series here in the Northwest Racing Series. And gotta say, Casey Garber in that 94 could be a little bit of an underdog to watch out for that of Garber. He finished 2nd here on the last time that we were here at Texas, and he led 6 laps. Still looking for a decent run for himself, but obviously the opportunities of a yellow, with how hard we're seeing some of these drivers racing, is still high.
And you know, Samuel, I just thought about something, bud. We had the truck race here at Charlotte. We're at Texas now. Cup race will be at Texas on Monday, but last week, trucks at Charlotte, Cole Raz won that event, and then he turned around Monday night and won the Cup race. So he swept the Charlotte competition for the Northwest this year.
Yeah, he swept it, and certainly is one of our favorites to watch out for from here on out. I mean, for Cole Raz, he missed out on the playoffs because he didn't show up for enough races, and that is the only reason that he was not a threat when the playoffs came around. Certainly always was for a victory. Cole Raz certainly has come in with vengeance here for season number 9 for the trucks and season 3 for the Cup machines.
And you know, Samuel, if you remember the run to the championship, you think of Lake Peterson, man. I mean, he's got 3 wins already this year. You look at what he did last year, primarily in the Cup program. Ran a couple of truck races, but primarily in Cup. He literally, Samuel, did what he needed to do to win, get up in the points, be in that points margin, show up for a playoff race, win a playoff race, missed the next 2 rounds because he had other obligations or whatnot going on. But because of that win, it obligated him and got him transferred into the next round. And he went on to make a fierce battle for a championship. Just came up shy when Chris White got it. And if you remember, Lake Peterson was involved in that. Yeah,
Lake Peterson and Sean Brasman, both the championship contenders. That was back for the Cup championship. That incident happened as Carl Burke. Incident for the 53. He is low, slow, and heading to pit road. Carl Burke issues for himself.
That's right. We're watching now the legend Carl Burke, his Chevrolet, and coming. Yeah, I hate talking good about guys, Samuel, because I feel like every time we do, we jinx them. I mean, it just...
It's hard. You want to talk praise about certain drivers, and it just doesn't work. And Carl Burke ran his laps, ran well, and now heading to the garage. Going to be joining that of Vinnie McDonald and Aaron Cooper for themselves. 3 drivers that are done for the night. But drivers that aren't done, the battle for the lead. Kate Anderson, Cole Raz, they're side by side down the front stretch, down into turn number 1 on lap 71.
Team KAD going at it now down to the inside. It's going to be Anderson. He'll clear it by about 2 truck lengths. Raz gave him a shot, couldn't reel him in. Justin Yee right there behind him. 1, 2, and 3 for those spots as they close into halfway.
As they continue to race on. Also, other drivers of note. Toby Ritter's 10th place runner right now, but he's going to have that of Casey Duncan in the 17, as well as that of Sean Breisman around him. And that of Toby Ritter's, again, a driver that's on older tires, but still trying to run well with the other machines around him as he's going to pressure Duncan in contact. Going to be made. Ritter's too close trying to pitch the 17, and it gets hurt by that one. And now he's got to be in trouble. Here comes another pack on the 23.
Samuel, I don't think we realized it until we just saw it there from the contact between Duncan and Ritter's, how wide turn 1 actually is. I mean, if that would have been Charlotte last week or Atlanta per se, that truck would have been in the fence.
I mean, it's so wide, but it's kind of like, it's deceptive. It's close to what I would say Michigan on the fact that it's so wide, but when you're in the corners, there's a small sliver of the track that you're aiming for at all times. That's here at Texas. You're always trying to go low, and right there, Toby Ritter's try to go for the best and opportunity, and just wasn't enough space for neither of those drivers.
Closing in on halfway, next time by. Here in Charlotte, here in Texas. Charlotte last week, Texas tonight. Of course, that's that swing of the intermediate tracks. We take off for Memorial Day next week. Caden Anderson is the man that is leading the way here. Wow, Daggett off the pace. Gamble off the pace in 54 also.
Yeah, and these drivers starting to feel a little bit of the pressure for some of them and just placing mistakes. I think that first stint, some drivers were a little bit passive on the aggression on their tires, and now might be a little bit overzealous on the tires, and now just losing a lot of ground. Here's going to be that of Casey Garber, losing a lot of position for the 94, just too loose, getting close to the outside wall, and drivers having to back out, lose all the momentum that they're trying to build up through that of turns 3 and 4, and losing all the ground and going backwards.
Side by side, look at White, Chris White, and Yee battling. This will now put Chris White in the 3rd spot. How about this, Samuel, as we're just after halfway, up 21 positions for the number 6.
Yeah, Chris White did not have the qualifying run that he was hoping to have for himself. Certainly one of the drivers that we always expect to run well at these intermediate courses. He's found himself in a victory lane this season, back at that Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and now pressured by Justin Yee. And Yee and that of Chris White, the more that they stay side by side, they're going to be losing our leaders. That of Ike Anderson and Cole Raz, they continue to stay in line and just trying to pull away as the battle for 3rd is still raging.
And we are after halfway in this event here. One yellow flag that was right after a portion of green flag pit stops. That happened around lap number 55, 56, if you will. Here comes Yee and White side by side, battling now for 3rd. And all the while, Samuel, as they cross the stripe, go back to turn number 1. This allows super friends of Caden Anderson and Cole Raz to be in their own little battle, but they're pulled away in 2.
Yeah, they're pulling away now. The difference between that of Justin Yee and our leader going to be 1.7 seconds. But Chris White might not be giving up. He might think about throwing it down low. Doesn't. Just falls in line with that of Justin Yee. And he's right on board with Chris White. Talked about the way that he won his championship in the Cup Series. Was gifted it in some ways. Stayed out of trouble is what some other people would write it down with seeing, like we were talking about, that of Blake Peterson and Sean Breisman wiping each other out in the lead with 40 laps to go in that championship race last season in the Cups. But for Chris White this season for the trucks, this is a completely different driver that's coming in. He's been looking very strong, showing up here. He missed a couple of races in the early portions of this season, but certainly the consistency is there. Wesley, 2 races, he's got a win and another podium on top of that. It's 6. He'll be a driver to watch out for once the playoffs come around.
And they still continue to battle right there side by side with one another. White to the inside, and of course to the outside lane. And by the way, Samuel, a Toyota now. Chris White driving left of Ford. Left of Ford, moves to the Toyota stables. And remember, as soon as he did that in the Cup Series, he walked away with a win.
Yeah, I mean, he's been looking great with the swap up. And you know, for some drivers, it's a comfort feeling. There's different, you know, when you hop into these trucks or in the Cup cars with the different manufacturers, the inside of the cockpits are actually different from each machine. There's just slight differences in the ways that you're seeing different, you know, readings of oil temp, water temp, also just speed in general as we hop on board with Sean Breisman here and get a sense of, you know, all the trucks, they're coming down with full throttle or the best they can be through 3 and 4. This is their momentum builder type of a corner. You build up the momentum, you're trying to follow the driver. Boy stabbed out of the wall.
Couple of teammates battling there. Actually, his other teammate behind him, John Odenbacher. As they work their way back up, there's Odenbacher up the hill. Oh, whoa, watch out, boy, what a save. Man right in front of Duncan Samuel. Odenbacher about ate the wall out of 2. He was about to be seeing stars.
Yeah, trying to follow exactly what Jeff Stabnow did just the last lap going out of turn number 4. Stabnow starting to see that rear end wiggling more and more each lap that goes on by. John Odenbacher, though, that outside wall out of 2, that's the more dangerous spot for the drivers because you're guessing on when you need to get into the throttle sometimes. Odenbacher talked about how wide this track is. He's trying that outer groove to see what momentum he can throw down on the backstretch, and look at that run, Wesley.
Yeah, he certainly got that run going again. Trying to keep all that momentum going for him, if you will, as they work back through turn number 4. Odenbacher hugs the bottom. Stabnow right there with him. Duncan is there as well, but those are your Team LSRTV CRN teammates right there. both out of Billings, Montana. The Billings, Montana clan going at it, and Stabnow now losing ground. Ottenbacher's got something.
I mean, I was wondering if Ottenbacher was thinking about doing the same as I think he did that last lap, just go completely up to the outside wall and just ride right up there, see how much speed he can build up and throw it around this corner. And looks like for now the 89, excuse me, going to be just comfortable in 6th place for now. But strategy is certainly going to be the factor moving forward, Wesley. We're coming up to about that of 20 laps before the driver's going to have to think about coming into pit road, and that's when the mind games will be coming in.
85 of 147 laps. This race going by very quickly than usual here tonight. Of course, it's 220.50 miles, 147 laps. We are just after halfway, about 10 laps or so ago. Skip that mid. Oh, look out! Saves it. No, he doesn't. Spins. Catman through the start-finish line. Caution is out for the second time. Wow. Samuel, I was just going to say we only had one yellow flag, and I'm just going to shut up.
Talk about yellows, talk about how green we've been, and the yellow flag will come around in anywhere from 5 to 10 laps as it strikes here again. Second yellow of the night. Pulse poppers instant replay. We got a sense of how it started. James Vining trying to get a little bit too much out of turn number 4 here, Wesley. And 333 also seeing that Cameron Iverson get a little bit aggressive through the corner, but just too loose. Overcorrects, saves it, hold on, and then just couldn't keep it going straight, crossing the line.
Hey, if he won the race, that'd be a perfect way to celebrate right there at the start-finish line. But yeah, that's definitely that's fun. Samuel, almost what 45-lap green flag run. I think we're going to see the Cavalry come to pit lane under caution.
Well, this is when things get tricky, right? Because this is putting the drivers in a position where they're going to be about anywhere from 5 to 10 laps shy from making it to the end. So they've got to make the critical decision. Do we just come in and try to top off on fuel when we get the one to go, as everyone will come in? But the question of track position, do you want to give it up to try to save fuel if this race stays green to the very end?
Well, there's green flag pit stops ongoing right now, so we saw that the first go around. So now we're going to see yellow flag pit stops, and Samuel, maybe no penalties because obviously these guys are already at caution flag speed pace.
Yeah, I don't want to get any penalties, but you could still make mistakes of sliding through your box, and we've seen that through Dennis Moore and plenty of other drivers under green flag pit stops. Here, seems like everyone is clean through their boxes, and now getting out of the track, Kane Anderson might have been trapped looking at replays again, as he'll be losing more positions for that 37.
Samuel, somebody was asking in the chat box, Toby Ritters, did he get a piece of that whenever he, when the truck spun, or was there a previous incident where Ritters got some damage, maybe?
Oh, when he made contact with that of the 17 of Casey Duncan, that was when he made contact there.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if there's any damage on Ritter's truck. If there was, remember, this Open Fix Setup Series, they do get a fast repair to try to fix things here. So, yeah. Like some of the throwback colors. Remember No Bull, Samuel? No Bull 07. Dana Rogers. Winston Noble, big back in the NASCAR day of the Cup Series. We're closing in on the 100 laps. Settle in. We got a lot of racing left to go. Trucks a lap down or more coming to the pits, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're watching iRacing on LSRTV and listening on the Community Radio Network, the Northwest Truck Series. Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR-TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too. broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments, and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Haven't got to the fresh professional ones.
Back here in Texas, lights off on the pace car. We'll get ready for the restart. You're on board there with the man, Mr. Cole Raz. Samuel, if he wins this race, obviously he's now the new leader. Chris White second, Justin Yee third, Sean Brightsman fourth, John Onnebacher fifth, Caden Anderson. My goodness, he's fell all the way back to 19th. He lost 18 spots in this last coming restart. After second yellow flag, 90 laps when they come back to green this time by Samuel. Charlotte swept by Cole Raz. He wins tonight. That's 3 in a row for the driver out of Lake Oswego, Oregon.
Yeah, that's counting for trucks last week, Cup on Monday, and then trucks here tonight for that 3 in a row streak that you're talking about.
Hat-trick, hockey season going on, the playoffs. We love hockey. And we love truck racing. Green flag back out here in Texas.
And Raz is gone as he is taking off. And you might be wondering what happened to Caden Anderson. Well, I think he might have done a similar thing that he did on Monday, just sitting in pit road back in 19th place. He's that 37. He'll try to work his way through traffic as yellow flag strikes.
Caution out, third time, trouble. BJ Tidrick back straight away. The Old Spice Racing entry forward. Yellow flag. Biggest accolades for him on the Northwest 2 years ago. Around this time in 2020, he won a very controversial race at Darlington.
And Wesley, looking at this replay, this is going to be these drivers just going to be a self-spin by the 72. Just got on the throttle too soon. Just gets loose and could have been an overcorrection with the fact that with the setup, again, this is an open setup race night for these drivers in the truck series. As on that of Mondays, it's a fixed setup for the Cup cars. For the trucks here on Thursday nights, it is open setup, meaning you can make adjustments when you come into pit road. You make wedge wedge adjustments and tire pressure adjustments, and just mess with this truck to make it fit better. But if you put a little bit too much turn in these trucks, you get incidences like that where you're going to be self-spinning out of the corner.
Yeah, it's a tough break there. Caution out again for the machine of BJ Tidrick, because I don't see anybody coming to the pits. Obviously, little psych jobs there between White and Sean Brightsman in the back there for third and fourth. But other than that, Samuel, everybody's just going to kind of stay on the straight and narrow, a couple of caution laps, and try to get this race back up underway here.
Yeah, I'm expecting some of the drivers back from 15th on back to potentially coming to pit road, thinking about just topping off with fuel and making sure that they're good and they don't have to go into fuel saving here for the rest of this race if we stay green. But for the majority of these drivers that are up front, like we noted on our third key of winning this race, tires can go further than the fuel. And at this point in this race, this is when it matters the most, because for these drivers, they potentially, Wesley, have made their money stop on that last caution. Again, they were 5 to 10 laps shy for making it to the end of this race on fuel. Pacing of this caution going to add another 2 to 3 laps. They just need to save 2 laps under green flag racing, and they could be finding themselves winning this race based off of fuel mileage and saving their fuel, which Cole Raz did this Monday night at Charlotte for the Cup Series race. Never know, he might be able to bring out a little bit more magic this week.
Maybe more magic. We'll watch it, as there is still a lot of racing here left to go. Yes, though it is coming up on lap 100, we still have over 50 laps remaining here in this event. Obviously, we've seen some sheer time. Samuel, do you think Anderson decided to go to the back because he was bored? He wants to try to run trucks down?
I mean, that's kind of what he did on Monday. Was he decided, I'm just going to drive through this field. I'm so fast. I'm tired of this. Could be thinking the same strategy. I mean, he's back in 16th place. He's going to be same set of tires. He just put himself in danger. And on Monday, when he first did that, he had to use a fast repair, was caught up in a quick wreck. But Anderson into pit road here late. He could be thinking about a strategy call like I was talking about, of drivers thinking about just taking fuel here on this pit stop and feeling comfortable that they could just race it from here to the end, not having to worry about saving fuel, and they're good on their fuel mileage at this time of this race. As we saw drivers that of Tyler Kim pushing out to lap 52 before he had to come into pit road. It's putting the drivers right around that window, Wesley, where they might be good.
Pretty nasty weather outside where I'm at right now in North Carolina. Samuel's on the other side of the U.S. of A in California. Of course, our buddy Charles Wooten in the production truck down there in No Limits, Texas. Matter of fact, he's in Texas, Wichita Falls. I think he's about 2 or 3 hours from Fort Worth. And Samuel, I was looking up on the information while we were on commercial break. Of course, we're in Texas tonight for the Northwest. You got the NASCAR All-Star Race at Texas this weekend. Of course, obviously the Cup Truck and Xfinity in action. And then the PBR. Got some rodeo in Texas Championship World Finals going on as well. So, yeah, if you're in the Texas area, you're checking out iRacing on LSRTV and planning to want to do some things in the Lone Star State, head to those events, man. That'd be cool.
Those rodeo events are always a blast to watch. I mean, those are some gutsy, fearless guys that go out there, try to ride a bull or do whatever they want to do out there for entertainment and for cash on the line.
Fun times here where lights are off on the pace car. We'll get ready for a restart. We will settle them up back to green here. Samuel, you're taking this, man, as we have closing in on 60 laps to go, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, this race certainly, I think the first, I would say, 80 laps of this race, it was all Cole Raske and Anderson. No one else was really competition in my mind to watch out for them. But got to be feeling bad for those drivers further back in the field, such as Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, and that of Dan West Jr. We talked about it. That was our third key. Don't make mistakes. I mean, that was our first key, I should say, to victory. Don't make mistakes. They made it. They're a lap down for the majority of this race. Ryan Bloom, O'Hare, they're back on the lead lap. We'll see if they can climb their way through this field.
All right, we'll settle back in here for the restart. 95 of 147 laps. Raz and Yee on the front row, White and Brightsman. Duncan, remember he about had some problems earlier? Got right back up in there. He's in the 6th position. Audenbacher with a good run tonight, the Billings, Montana driver. In the 89 to the top 5. Green flag goes back in the air. Remember, Samuel, remember that strategy with Sean Brightsman? Came back down to the pit lane, last caution, took on, filled up the tanks. Wonder if that's going to be his advantage. He's in 3rd right now, battling White off 2.
And that was an advantage for that last stint, but he came into pit road under that second to last caution we just had, and the rest of the field came in at that same time. But Sean Brightsman qualified in 7th, and certainly a driver that's trying to find better qualifying stints here. Did not qualify well in the first half of the season. First half of the race has been ran so far, and he has certainly been finding his groove here on out. 4th place, trying to move up to 3rd potentially, and behind these drivers, Duncan, Audenbacher, they're starting to get racy as well.
Yeah, they certainly are, working their way off the corner. Here comes now the Limeade machine down to the inside. Duncan, evasive moves on Audenbacher. On Ritters, you can't block them all. Iverson gets the door open. They're 2 by 2 as they work out of 4.
The big thing to watch out here is the exit, and that's where Audenbacher struggles as they're almost 3 wide for a quick second there. Toby Ritter is going to be in the better positioning for himself as Duncan pulls away. But Frank Harris cracking the top 10. Biggest mover of the night. Frank Harris in the 11, up 24 positions in 9th place, right behind this group.
Yeah, what a job for him right now. Settles in, working now the top 3. Looking Frank Harris now. Trying to climb up after Ritters, after Iverson. Audenbacher now trying to clear a path in the top 5. Duncan now goes to 5th. It's Raz the leader as they work out of 4. There's contact. Ritters and Harris, they hold it together back to 1.
And right now, Tony Ritters, this has just not been his spot on the track. That front stretch into turn 1 is where he has been having the most issues all night long. It's him and other drivers, not always his fault. It's just, well, you know, positioning and drivers looking for the same real estate. And sometimes you're both aiming at the same spot, just doesn't work out, as Ritters has to get to that lower line. If he stays a high, he's going to continue to lose more and more positioning. As Kevin Smith makes this pass, he's got to get in between the 00 and the 51 potentially here. But Troy Daggett, too quick. He's already going to be right side by side.
Yeah, we'll watch him now as here comes Daggett and Ritters now sizing each other up. They work off the corner. Back out of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. It is Raz, the man, out in front. Yee in second, White third. Brightsman, Duncan, top 5. Working off the corner. Well, that was Harrison Smith there, but they changed it up. Look at this 4-truck battle, Samuel, for the lead. Raz, Yee, White, Brightsman, throw a blanket over him out of 2.
First back to fourth, going to be that of 3/10 the difference. There is nothing in between these drivers, and Chris White is tired of following Yee, trying to go down low, not able to make the clearance down to the quarter panel. They'll stay back in line. 4 drivers all positioning themselves to try to get by Cole Raz, and Raz no longer having a teammate to work with. Kane Anderson still only back to 18th place. This 10, he's got to defend all on his own once again.
Yeah, by the way, as all that excitement was going on, we just passed lap number 101 as we close in on 47 laps to go. 100 laps completed, over 100 laps here. Working now lap 102 complete. This time by, there's the leaders coming off of turn 4. Audenbacher, Iverson going at it for position. This is for 6th and 7th at the line.
These are 2 drivers. I mean, at one point, they were just trying to scave into the top 10. Now, definitively in their set of 7th, 6th, and 7th. And so it's good to see that of, you know, Iverson as well as Audenbacher running well. But then you look behind them, there's just a wall and a hornet's nest here, Wesley, of drivers that are trying to get moving. Some a lap down, some trying to gain every position possible.
Raz and Yee holding on to those spots. Here they come across the line. Look at, hey Samuel, look who's back up in the battle again. Back up in the saddle, 2-time series champion, defending champion Dan West Jr. He hooks up with his teammate Jeff Stab now, and they're trying to climb back into the top 10.
Yeah, but the big thing for that of Stab now and for that of Dan West Jr. is they're trapped. There's nowhere really to go. They've got to force the issue and make a very risky move to try to split the 11 and the 51. Staying patient, but Jeff Stab now, he's trying to help himself to move forward where Frank Harris's line just not able to make that pass just yet. Finally, a little bit of an opening, and there goes that 24 gained by Frank Harris.
Back straight away, Stab now, sideways, DWJ behind him. Ritter's trying to run him down. Harris up on the outside. They work off the corner. Harris, Daggett closing on those trucks. Working Kamari, having a good run tonight, Samuel, as well. How about Kamari? You see him behind them, right there behind Ritters. And Vining now back up in the game in the top 15 as they work out of 2.
Yeah, James Vining, after bringing out one of our early cautions, being involved with our first one and then also involved with our third caution of the day at 3:33, certainly has done a great job. Been in 15th place right now, but you know he's searching for that top 10 finish this season and wanting to get another one notched on those stat sheets as teammates get a little bit side by side. That of Jeff Stab now, Dan West Jr. Battle for 10th is on.
40 laps to go next time around. Staying here with you. We got some pretty nasty weather in North Carolina, but I'm going to hang with you as long as I can, Samuel, as they work to the back straightaway, buddy. Man, it's Raz and Yee, White and Brightsman. Duncan is right there. And Stab now, trying to run down West. This is for 10th and 11th position. Daggett in front of them. That's your top 10. That is a battle that we've been watching brew here, a storm, if you will, the last couple of laps, Samuel. And the reason why is these guys, I think they got fast trucks, but they're boxed in and they can't go nowhere, as you said.
Yeah, in some ways it's hurting them. They're losing ground to our leaders. In other ways, though, this could be helping them. Being trapped behind quote-unquote slower drivers help them save their tires for this longer run that we're having right now. Also saving fuel is what this allowing these drivers to do. Yes, we had pacing under that last yellow. There could be a lot of these drivers trying to pick and choose when they want to make these passes, because if Cole Raz, Justin Yee, Chris White, Sean Breitzman are front four, they were racing so aggressive in the early portions of this last restart, they could be burning off too much top fuel and not be able to make it to the end of this race, but they're going to be close. About 3 laps shy is the numbers for those drivers up front. See if they're going to be able to save fuel if they're running too fast. And if they're running too fast, this is the group of drivers that we got to keep our eyes on. If, while slow they were running in the early portions, if they've saved enough.
Raz is the man that's still leading the way. There you see this battle with Daggett going on. Daggett Smith, 2-time winner there this year. And then you got the defending series champion, Dan West Jr. in the crosshairs. A little snaking, if you will. We saw that with those open wheel Indy cars a lot on Sunday night, watching them kind of bob and weave off the corners like they were just making that move off of 4. Here comes Daggett now, trying to make a run to the inside of Kevin Smith. This is to get him out of the top 10 and 9th. That goes on in turn 1.
To the outside, and for the 00, just struggling to find any type of speed. And that outside damage for that of Kevin Smith could be the reason why he's starting to lose this ground. But you can tell, Jeff Stab now, I think he's felt like he's finally made the right adjustments all night long to that 24 machine, as he is impatient and ready to roll. He's been as patient as he could be for the final 15 laps here since that last restart. And guess what? That 11 of Frank Harris, I think he's loving the fact that he's following Jeff Stab now, learning some things on this track. That 11 is on the move, Wesley.
Yeah, trying to make that move on the run, if you will, as they work their way off the corner out of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. It is Raz, the man that is out in front. Yee is in second spot. White, Duncan, Breitzman, top 5. Audenbacher, Iverson, West, Daggett, Stab now. Top 10 right now as we put lap number 113 on the board. They're working, 112 completed, and they're all running down. The Yakima, Washington driver is right now. Iverson and DWJ go at it for position. This is for 7th off 2.
David Blakes easily goes to the 2-time champ of the Truck Series and trying to go for his 3rd in a row, Wesley. I mean, what a dominant run that could be, to say that Dan West Jr., I mean, yes, it's been a struggle in the first half of this season, but certainly the speed is there. As drivers talked about it, maybe they don't feel like they can make enough fuel. Well, the first to show their cards, Kevin Smith into pit road for the 00.
There you go right there. We knew that Kevin Smith could not go the distance. Any more takers, any more drivers that are going to have to come to the pits and have work done. Better check it out now. Raz and Yee White, top 3. Here they come, roaring through start finish. There's guys inside the top 10. And that's the thing, Samuel. You look at the interval from start finish. I mean, that's all the way 6 seconds past the line, where we just saw the other drivers in the top 10 pass that pitter that just came in. And now we watch them on the back straightaway, buddy.
And there's a big thing also to look back on, as Camary had a very big scare for himself that almost brought out a yellow just out of a lap and a half ago, almost 2 laps now without Dan Lowther. Lowther comes into pit road, you see, for that machine into pit road. But certainly a lot of these drivers, they are hoping for a yellow, I think, if you're up front in the top 5. But for everyone else, they want to see this race go green. Here comes Clifford. Toby Ritter's in the pit road for the 23.
Ritters is in. Clifford. Solid night tonight, Samuel, by the way. Can we say that for the 23? I mean, I know he had that. Well, he just took a fast repair. Whatever damage he had from earlier, from that contact, if you remember that little hiccup he had in turn 2, Samuel, he has ready to take this race to the finish.
Yeah, and for that, Toby Ritters, he had to use that fast repair. You saw all the damage and wounds of him getting into the wall and into other drivers and drivers bouncing into him. It's just been kind of a tough night. I mean, yes, in some fashions, you could say, yes, he's been doing a great job dealing with all those issues, but certainly he has been bullied here by a lot of machines, and he's also been trying to fire back at moments as drivers getting back on track. Is that a Toby Ritters? But up front, Casey Duncan, one of our top 5 drivers, he's hitting pit road for the 17.
Yeah, here comes Duncan. Remember, he had a little contact with the wall earlier. I'm telling you, Samuel, if there's one driver that I think is one of the improved men in this series, very quickly, it's got to be Casey Duncan. I mean, man, he's really improved. He's really come a long way. Came out of the gate, might have had some problems, but then he kind of mired in the back. But now you can rest assured, when he gets in a cup or a truck, he's right there within the front of the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, this season he's got, himself a couple of top 10 finishes as he's finished, for Dover, 6th place, Atlanta, 10th. Man, he's had 2 really bad races at Las Vegas and at Kansas, but those have been the only 2 of his 5 races that he's shown up for. As more drivers hitting pit road, this is kind of shocking to see, but Dan West Jr. came into pit road, tried to top off with a strategy call. He could not make it into pit road. All of LSRTV's team coming in. They take off, knowing they cannot make it. This is a strategy called take tires, fuel. You're hoping you can build a big enough lead so that if any of these other drivers that have come to pit road, you can take those positions away. But for the drivers I'm keeping my eye on here, Wesley, Ryan Bloom, Gamble, Moore. I take that back. Gamble is not part of that group. Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, Kane Anderson. Those are the drivers in my eyes that I'm watching, as they could be drivers that are saving fuel. They came into pit road under that last caution with 1 lap to go. They just needed to save 2 laps. They might be able to do it here.
Oh, yeah, sure, man. Without a doubt. Watching them working their way off the corner, coming back across start finish. You see now this truck, this group, if you will, Moore, the Dennis Moore there. Wow, Gamble way up the hill. Samuel, that's what I was telling you about, man. We closing on 30 to go. Look at the way that track is. I mean, literally the way that track is so wide when you go into turn number 1.
Yeah, it's extremely wide, and like we noted on before, it's kind of like as we see more drivers, Justin Yee now into pit road, John Ottenbacher, James Viney, more up front, not feeling comfortable they can make it to the end into pit road. But yeah, that turn number 1, much wider into the corner, but you want to get down low to that white line to the middle of the track. You don't want to be too high unless you really know you're going to be gutsy and almost bouncing off the outside wall, trying to get a massive run on the back stretch. But those are gutsy calls that you got to make, that you are going to have to make if you want to make big moves like that. But Wesley, just like we noted on our 3rd key victory, do not want to be caught with mistakes. Some drivers have already made those mistakes, and Robert Gamble into pit road with some other drivers behind him.
Yeah, here comes the Cincinnati Bengals entry, number 54, Robert Gamble. He'll come in and make a pit stop. 25 laps to go, mind you. Remember that, with Raz leading, White second. Man, Cole Raz pulls this off. He will put himself 3 wins in a row. Trying to go for that 4-win trick whenever the cup cars are here at Texas on Monday. Remember, next Thursday night, in observance of Memorial Day, we will be taking off here for iRacing on LSRTV for coverage of Anderson. Whoa, what a save of the 37. Maybe he's regretting trying to come from the back to get back to the front, Samuel. He's in 8th spot.
Well, here's the thing. Anderson is part of this cluster of drivers that are trying to save extra fuel. Out of Ryan Bloom, Dennis Morgan, Anderson, O'Hare, all part of this group. Ryan Bloom, he doesn't feel like he can make it to the end. He now has to come into pit road. That might be a strategy of feeling like you can't make it. Now Anderson and Dennis Moore, they're going to be leading the drivers that are going to be in the potential position of saving enough fuel. But this is gambling plays. And for Ryan Bloom, it did not work out. Feels like he has to come into pit road to try to salvage any positions possible.
But Samuel, the thing is this.
Wesley, you still there? Well, Wesley's been having some internet woes. He's had troubles of internet. We're hoping that we can get him back, as Cameron Iverson's now going to be coming into pit road for himself. Final 22 laps of this race. It is now turned into a fuel mileage gamble run. Some drivers feel like they're good, other drivers don't, as that of Cameron Iverson gets rolling, taking off. Majority of the drivers coming in, fuel and tires for themselves, especially when we come down to those final 15 to maybe 10 laps. If drivers are going to stretch it that far, expect only fuel for their stops is going to be that of Cole Raz, Chris White, Troy Daggett, we see on screen. That of BJ Tidrick, going to be the 4 drivers that have to come into pit road. Troy Daggett, see how long he wants to stay out as we're getting closer and closer someone will have to come to pit road. As my name is Sam Dyer, we just lost Wesley Outland to that of weather conditions. 20 laps to go. Cole Raz trying to do a miracle here this evening. Won't matter, yellow flag waves. And I believe it's going to be Cameron Iverson, and it is the 65 who just came into pit road. Changes it all, and yellow flag now strikes for all the drivers that just came to pit road. Strategies out the window, and this gives a potential chance of everyone that stayed out. Perfect track position as here's our Pulse Poppers instant replay. Cameron Iverson just coming out of pit road, throws his truck into the middle groove of this lane, not up to speed. He's finding on his back bumper, pressuring. And oh boy, gets loose and slingshot, pounces the Catman off the wall, out into the inner side with 65, locked in and trapped. Iverson had already used his fast repair. That's going to be a race ending incident for himself. Vining's out of this. Should take a ride with James Vining and get his point of view on how this incident went down. He's racing with that of Dean Moore. Moore, multiple laps down, already frustrated on the fact that he's racing so hard with a driver that is 13 laps down while he was only that of 1. Closing in on the slower driver, expecting a little bit more space. Get up, and there's the contact to get the 65 loose. And from there on out, just overcorrection gone and destruction made. There goes the 333. James Vining immediately calls it a night. He's out of this race. Other drivers calling it a night. Justin Yee is out of this race. He's called it a night for himself. James joining that James Vining, and now pit stops underway. Dan Anderson, who took a risky call in these last 2 pit stops, well, he stayed out. He's now going to be in the top 10 coming into pit road as he'll finally get to his box. But with the majority of this field going to have to take the wave around, he can take his time when he's going to get back out there on track, is that of the 37. Well, late caution. It could be our final caution. We're going to take our last commercial break of this evening. When we come back, it's the final, that of potentially 15 laps to go here at Texas for the Northwest Truck Series.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the 2nd year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSRTV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too. Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week. Welcome back. Weather in the area where I'm at in North Carolina has knocked out things here. I'm back here with you, though, Samuel. I'm going to try to stay here with you to the finish unless we get knocked off again, buddy. We do have a tornado warning for my location, so just trying to keep monitor of that while we rock and roll. We had a caution, Samuel. What happened? Third one of the race.
The caution flag came out. It was that of Cameron Iverson, James Vining making contact in the middle of green flag. Pit stops and strategy calls being thrown out. Top 9 going to be on the lead lap as the rest of the field, Sean Bridesman further on back. All are going to be taking the wave around to get back onto the lead lap. So we should have 18 drivers in total. But Wesley, our top 9, are going to have the freshest tires. Cole Raz, Chris White, Troy Daggett, Dennis Moore, BJ Tidrick, Caden Anderson, Stephen O'Hare, that of Briar Reynolds, and Paul Newton, all lucking out with this caution that came out here late.
It's going to be shootout time for sure, as we got a 16, 15 lap shootout here. Got my fingers crossed, got my legs crossed, got my eyes crossed. Obviously, I'm looking cross-eyed at the video monitor right now. To hopefully be able to get this race to you to the finish. Samuel will handle finish line post-race wrap-up because, like I said, we've got some pretty bad weather where I'm at right now in this area. And Samuel, you got this race now where Raz better be paying attention because you got Chris White back up there. Troy Daggett having one heck of a run for him. And BJ Tidrick, remember Tidrick, 72? Problems earlier in the race, brought out a caution. He's right there in the top 5 along with Mr. Dennis Moore.
Certainly look like strong drivers as we are green. It's going to be that of Cole Raz immediately taking off for himself. Chris White, also that of Troy Daggett, going to be side by side. But the driver in my mind to watch out for, 5th place runner, Caden Anderson. He is not going to be waiting for long. That 37 is going to make some bold moves. He's going to front and more, get slightly loose on the lower end, opening for the 37 machine.
Yeah, I was going to say there, buddy, watch that 37 as Dennis Moore was trying to put the blocker on him down to the inside as there's Anderson. He's moved his way up down to the number 4 position. Coming after White, coming after Daggett, and then it's Raz, and it's going to be the Raz-Anderson battle. Does he got enough time, though, Samuel? 14 to go, they're back to turn 1.
I mean, 14 to go, still less than a little bit over a second. There's still plenty of time, but he's got to make these passes on the 2 drivers ahead of him as fast as possible. That's Chris White, Troy Daggett, and Troy Daggett in by Chris White. Strong run for the 51, who's trying to get a top 3 finish here tonight.
2 lanes wide, 3 lanes wide, 4 lanes wide, and still you can only pick that one truck that you can throw a block on, and all the while here comes
yellow. Let's try it again.
Out.
Sean Bridesman issues for the 46.
Oh no, up against the inside tires, yellow flag just outside of turn 4, right near the dogleg entrance of pit lane, Samuel. A caution out here for the 5th time.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of accordion effect here. Watch out for the 07 of Dana Rogers in the white and red. He's going to be underpowered, and drivers are trying to get by Rogers as fast as possible here, but he's going to be slow, checking up Casey Garver, which checks up than everyone else. They're 3 wide, nowhere to go. Sean Bridesman gets loose, overcorrects, and luckily no one else involved.
I got to give props, though, Samuel, to Sean Bridesman, because he could have turned down in the bottom of the racetrack into the truck pack and his teammates. He decided to take the sacrifice and put himself in the fence. That was very admirable there for the 46.
At this point, you're trying to grab everything. Now, with this time into this yellow, that's going to be taken away 4 or 5 laps away from this field. And now for Dan West Jr., Casey Duncan, everyone that took the wave around, I think they still have an extra set of tires in pit road. They do. So this, from about 10th on back, could think about coming into pit road, and that could change up strategies because then they would have a slight advantage over Cole Raz and everyone else. But I don't know if you take that risk here this late in the run. Giving up track position is very important and vital.
We are at the top of the hour. We're just going to take a network ID, and we will come back and take you to the finish. You stay with us, iRacing on LSRTV, as we're under caution. The finish from Texas when we return.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
And if you are still currently listening on 87.5, the Community Radio Network, we have just issued another severe weather alert, tornado warning in Wake County. So that is right in our viewing, broadcast, listening area. So please be alert to that. I'm also being alert myself, as it is nasty Thursday night, Samuel, here for the Northwest Trucks in Texas, in my hometown. Samuel is all the way in California. Samuel, what's the weather like in California? They say it never rains in Southern California.
Southern California, it doesn't rain. I'm in Northern California. It rains every once in a while, but right now it is not raining. It's been hot, but for all those over there in North Carolina, please stay safe and keep yourselves. Don't try anything too crazy. and keep yourself safe out there.
Yeah, like Wesley trying to do a broadcast with mixer boards and headsets with an antenna rod with the lightning storm going on. Oh, the stuff we do for the passion we love. And of course, our buddy right in the middle of the United States who's right in Tornado Alley as well, Charles Wooten in Wichita Falls, Texas. I think it's a nice night in Texas, actually. I think it is. Actually, no, it's not. I think he's got some weather tonight as well. So, yeah, we'll make our best to bring this to the finish. Samuel, Troy Daggett, what is he going to do to try to get around Cole Raz? And does Raz need to watch that 51? Could we see Daggett win this race?
Win it. I mean, that is the biggest underdog and Cinderella story that we could see here this season so far. If we see Troy Daggett win this race. See, Troy Daggett this season is still searching for his first top 10 finish, let alone a top 5 or a win. He is searching for his best finish. His best finish was back at Richmond, 11th place. Atlanta was 13th. But certainly for Troy Daggett, if he wants to win here tonight, he's got to figure out the restarts. If he can keep it close with the 10, he'll give himself a chance. But Cole Raz has been very much on the changing up when he wants to take off. And whenever he takes off, he's had a large gap over second place and everyone else in the field. So Troy Daggett, his goal, get a good restart if he wants an opportunity to win.
All right, so my question is this, Samuel. You think of Daytona for the Cup cars. You think of, obviously, Cole Raz. He's right up in this battle again. Cole Raz and Aaron Cooper and that crazy moment that happened in the race. And obviously, I think of this now, Cole Raz and Troy Daggett moment as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different storylines to be throwing out here, Wesley. I mean, this is certainly, it's going to be a good one, but with each pacing lap that goes on by, I think everyone's recognizing it's going to be building up on who, and the drivers that are hating the fact that there's so many pacing laps is the drivers 11th on back. That's where we find Dan West Jr., Paul Newton, Toby Ritters, Frank Harris, Robert Gamble, Sean Bridesman, Kevin Smith, even Jeff Stabnow in this group of drivers that all just came in, took a set of tires, used their fast repair if they've had it, and they're set up now for the final dash here, hoping this race stays green so they can utilize this fresh rubber that they just put down.
All right, lights are off for the pace car. It is 9 to go. It'll be 8 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway with the track nickname No Limits. It's time to push that factor in overload down the stretch. It is 8 laps remaining when they come back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone.
Oh boy, I think Wesley might have been lost as we are getting ready for the end of this race. For those in the North Carolina area, please stay safe with how bad the storms have been, as we've lost Wesley for the second time here this evening. But we are coming down to the final push here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 8 laps to go at Texas. Cole Raz, Troy Daggett, Chris White, Kane Anderson, Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, Brian Reynolds, BJ Tidrick, that of John Ombacher, and Casey Duncan going to be your top 10 drivers ready to go green here as we are coming. 8 laps to go. Who's going to get the win here at Texas? Round number 10 of the season. It's on. Cole Raz, Troy Daggett. Daggett needs the better launch here if he wants a chance to win. Otherwise, he's defending for that second place position. A little bit of hesitation, and we're off. And Raz, once again, like a rocket ship, over that of 3, 4, now 5 truck lengths back from that 3 wide entry. Watch out, they're getting dangerous. Oh boy, Chris White. That also going to be 3 wide for 3rd place. Now, Dennis Moore, Kane Anderson stuck in the middle. Moore with the better launch. 44 is coming with the push, but it's Cole Raz pulling away. And right now, it's going to be watching out for that of Chris White. It's going to have a bumper full, but O'Hare also coming in the mix. Drivers that had so many pit road mistakes for themselves now in the mix for second. Cole Raz now over a half a second lead. 7 laps to go for that of Cole Raz. Out of turn number 2. Now the pressure. Who is going to get that second place position and now start to make the push? We're right on board with Stephen O'Hare. The big thing for these drivers with 7 laps to go, be aggressive. The patience window is out, and now it is time to go. Chris White with the lead for now, but he now needs to figure out if he can find that speed. For Dennis Moore, Kane Anderson, the longer they stay side by side, the more time they're going to be losing on our leader. 6/10 is the difference now for first and second. Who wants that podium position as O'Hare forcing the issue. Thought he could make a move down to the inside. Not able to. Gets aggressive. Makes the bump. Anderson goes high. And O'Hare holds on for now. Certainly these drivers are getting into that mojo. The tensions are high. They've seen last season. They've seen this season. There's certain drivers that have built up history between one another. For Anderson and Cole Raz, they have not had any friends really been made. They're willing to get bumped around. 5 laps to go. Cole Raz, Chris White, Dennis Moore, Kane Anderson, all fighting along here as we're coming up to 4 laps to go. Chris White, he's closing in the gap. It was 6 tenths, it's now down to 5, almost down to 4. And it might be a yellow needed if Chris White wants to make this fight. But it is all Cole Raz for now. Dennis Moore, as well as Kane Anderson, they're in line. They're hoping for a little bit of help. But White slowly inching closer and closer. But I don't think he's going to be able to make it in time. 4 laps to go. Wesley's back for a little bit of action here. And it's on Wesley for that 3rd place position.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Another weather issue, but we're going to take you to the finish. 4 laps to go. I want to see how this finishes out with Raz still out in front. Obviously, I see Duncan got pushed all the way back to 6th. It's the defending Cup Series champion of this year. Chris White now, the U.S. Army machine. How fitting would it be for him to win this race right before Memorial Day in those U.S. Army colors? He's got 3 to go, though, as there's trucks running each other all over the racetrack.
Take him out. There he goes.
Stephen O'Hare.
The rig behind. Yellow flag.
Anderson, Johnson Rex, Tendrick Rex, Kim Rex. It all started, Samuel, with O'Hare turning Anderson down the back straightaway. I think some drivers got impatient. And there you go. Wow.
I mean, I talked about it, Wesley. Cole Raz, Kane Anderson, they have made enemies. They have not built up allies throughout their whole entire run here in the Northwest Truck Series and Cup Series. And people get fed up sometimes, and they feel like, hey, that block was too much.
Wow.
I'm tired of it. Get out of my way. I don't want to see you racing up here anymore.
And that's exactly what I think just happened. We got to see this again. Well, this is the after effects of it. But watch, first off, this is the back of the crash is obviously Brett Johnson and some other trucks got collected. We need to find the 41 of O'Hare and obviously Caden Anderson. Because that's
well, there were 2 separate incidences there. There were 2 separate incidences, and this is the back one that officially brought out the yellow. But, oh, the 72 gets bumped. Just nowhere to go. Wow. Yeah, Stabnow also involved. Those are drivers that had already used a fast repair as well. There's Kim, like you noted on. And those are race-ending wrecks for themselves.
Here's the one with Anderson coming up. We'll find out what happened to him. And it's obvious, Samuel. O'Hare just was trying to get by the 37. I think 37 was mirror driving, blocking him. And he just said enough is enough.
I mean, he went all the way down to the white line, and then, you know what, just get out of here. We don't want you at race up front.
Why would you do that?
Oh, Harris
was there a truck flying through the air? Was that Harris?
Harris obviously did a wheelie. I don't know if he went complete airborne, but he's able to at least run.
Oh, my. Extended replay presented by, oh, man.
But Wesley, this officially now puts us into overtime. We've got 2 attempts if needed, and all the drivers officially with required damage. Cameron Iverson, Jeff Stabnow, Stephen O'Hare with penalty with too many incident points, and also was given the EOL for purposeful wreck, goes to the 41. Tyler Kim, Brett Johnson, as well as that of Caden Anderson and Frank Harris, all with required damage.
Samuel, Caden Anderson, you think you get what you give right there? You think what he did?
I don't think that he deserved that one. There's plenty of times where you could say, okay, Caden Anderson, Cole Raz, they've made plenty of enemies where, you know, there's a lot of you're going to get yours back at some point. I don't think this was the time for Stephen O'Hare. I get it. You're frustrated. It's been a long night for that 41. He's gotten caught with penalties. He's been fighting to try to get up into the top 5, but yeah, that's not the time to just purposely wreck someone with that frustration there.
Man, oh man, 3 to go. Obviously, Samuel reiterated, we're going into obviously overtime. 2 attempts at a green-white checker, if need be. Wow. Samuel, you know, you've said this, and I'll say it again with you. There are some drivers on the Northwest that are frustrated with not just Caden Anderson, but Cole Raz. You know, I mean, they kind of, you know, mine said our job's just as broadcasters, but they've done some things that have made some people a little hot at them.
Yeah, I mean, they've got, the longest rap sheet of, you know, making intentional wrecks, making some, you know, some moves that people just deem as dirty. And, you know, when you've got that rap sheet of you've done all these things, other drivers don't race you with respect at that point because they feel like you're not going to race them with respect. And, you know, both Cole Raz and Caden Anderson, they have proven they are very skilled drivers. They are top tier of the league. But I think for a lot of the other drivers besides those two are feeling like, hey, you're fast. Why you got to play dirty to be up front and go for these wins? And that's why drivers just get fed up and they just say, you know what? I'm going to wreck you because, you know, I've seen you play too many of these silly games before and I don't want to deal with them anymore.
Lights are off on the pace car. We'll set them up for the restart. And, you know, I mean, I can't say anything bad about Stephen O'Hare. I think he's still on the racetrack in the 41. He's in the 16th position. For Anderson, though, Caden Anderson is 3 laps down, badly damaged in the pits.
Yeah, he had already used his fast repair, Wesley, and he has required damage. So his race is done. Same for the majority of this field that were involved with that wreck.
I wonder if he'll second guess again, Samuel, about going to the back of the pack after being in the top 2 all night and trying to fight back to the field. I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, I like all these guys, but to me, that move that the camera showed on the broadcast, I mean, you literally drove down below the bottom of the apron trying to bonsai and block somebody, and you know, you can only block somebody so much before they turn you around. And I think this is exactly what O'Hare did. I think, like you said, that was a frustration move.
Certainly was. And Wesley, it's time for our first attempt at overtime.
Overtime. So this is the way it goes down. 2 attempts at a green-white checker. If the leader takes the green flag and the caution comes out before the white, we'll re-rack and restack and do it again. Second attempt, green flag. Caution comes out before the white, race is considered official. If they take the white flag, which is the CRN 1 to go, then they'll race back to the checkered flag, wreckers or checkers. We're back underway. Green flag, Cole Raz looking for the hat trick. Winner, dominating, sweeping Charlotte, and now trying to do it in Texas. In the trucks, he's pulling away from everybody off 2.
That's been the most dominant thing for Cole Raz has been his restarts, and once again, he is gone. Talking about gone, Dan West Jr., he's back out on track for a quick moment. Well, here we go, Wesley. Can we get the white flag?
Trying to come out of turn number 4, looking for that CRN 1 to go as Raz will work through the dog leg here. Coming to the start finish, crosses the stripe. 1 flag in the air, 1 more left to go, and no limits, Texas. Cole Raz looking for a hat trick in turn 1.
Difference going to be 3/10 on the entry of turn 1, and right now, Dennis Moore is not close enough, but Dan West Jr. is close enough to at least move up to second. Who's going to make the bonsai move, though?
There's the bonsai move, trying to go to the 3, trying to cut off that air on Raz. He's now reeling him in, but I don't think he's got enough. Dominated Charlotte in Cup and Truck, and now 3 wins in the Northwest Series in a row. Truck win tonight in Texas as they're getting antsy in the back. Boy, on the binders, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., Chris White, Samuel. That looked like they were fighting over it hot and heavy. All right, guys, race is over. They're on the cool-down lap, man. That was a great battle. 3 trucks for second.
I'm going to think at one point after our first green flag pit stop, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., both were 1 lap down and able to finish in the podium position for both of themselves. Great recoveries for the 44 and the 55. But for Cole Raz, qualified 3rd, was up front all race long, and never really had to worry about anyone except for Caden Anderson, who got purposely wrecked out of this thing. And now the 10, it just gets to burn it down with some fun. And the question is, who's going to hit him here first?
Let the celebration begin. It is now 3 wins in a row. 3 wins this year, Samuel. Also, he becomes now the first driver to have 3 wins in the series for the trucks. Oh, and I believe, I'm checking my stats here for Cole Raz, if I remember correctly also, this is also a 3rd win in a row, Samuel. For the driver. No, my apologies.
No. This is his third win overall.
Yeah.
Yes, his third win in a row.
Yep.
He's counting last week's win, then the Cup win on Monday, and then here tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I clicked on the name Cole Raz, and it was like showing Cup and Truck and Car and a whole bunch of other stuff. So our apologies on that. So, but yeah, man, needless to say now, 3 wins. He is the most wins winner of the Northwest Truck Series though this year.
Yeah, he has been looking strong. As we take a look here at unofficial racing results, getting the win, Cole Raz, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr. are going to be your top 3 drivers. We'll get an interview from those 3 here in our post-race show with Chris White, Casey Duncan, Kevin Smith, Sean Breisman, Paul Newton, Toby Ritters, and John Ambacher, your top 10.
Yeah, there's your top 10. Of course, Brian Reynolds will go 11th, Robert Campbell 12th, Tidrick 13th, Camary 14th, Garber 15th, Daggett 16th, O'Hare 17th. Ortega, good run for him, Samuel. Though he's a lap down, a good finish. Got the truck in one piece still, top 20, along with Ray Fournier. Good run for him. Jeff Stab now, another disappointing top 20 finish after a runner-up finish last year.
Yeah, and then finishing out the rest of the field, going to be Ryan Bloom, Dana Rogers, that of Tyler Kim, Caden Anderson, Frank Harris, Brett Johnson with that of Dean Moore. Moore did a great job recovering after missing the start of this race, going to be in 27th. With Justin Yee, Cameron Iverson, James Vine, and these are all the drivers that were involved with those late wrecks. Just no more fast repairs. They were done with that of BJ Duval, going to be with that of Dan Lowther, that of Carl Burke, that of Vinnie McDonald, and finishing out our 35 drivers that started here tonight, Aaron Cooper, who was able to start and then end immediately for this race. Well, Wesley, before we go off, I know you've got internet issues because of the storm. We'll let you have your space for any of your final thoughts.
Yeah, oh, man, listen, the power just flickered again, so I'm going to make this quick. Congratulations, Cole Raz on a wealth of momentum, the man out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. He's dominating in Cup and Truck. We're going to have to put a bullseye against this guy, man. There's going to be a bounty or something placed on him like the way we talk about Falkenham in the Sim 500. What a performance tonight in the Northwest Truck Series by him. You know, I got to go back and say I think that was a dumb move by Caden Anderson. You should have stayed in the top 5, even if you were not happy with being in the back behind your friend and leader, Raz, and wanted to make some competition out of it. You literally, that's what happened. His truck got tore up. Good racing overall, Samuel. Sorry about having the issues with the weather, man. Samuel's going to carry it for the finish, everybody. He's going to carry the finish line post-race wrap-up and get the interviews. And Samuel, have a great Memorial Day, brother. I won't see you again until, well, I guess it won't be till after Memorial Day till we work together again. So it's always fun working with you, bud. And we got the Cup cars next Monday. But, yeah, happy Memorial Day to everybody. Enjoy the week off.
Yeah, you stay safe, Wesley, as he takes off. We're going to take a quick break ourselves. When we come back, post-race show here on LSRTV for the Northwest Truck Series from round number 10 at Texas. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for the Northwest Truck Series. Round number 10 here at Texas. Wesley had to take off because of weather issues, so I'll take you to the end of tonight's broadcast. My name is Sam Dyer, and we got our top three from this evening. We're going to start things off with third-place finisher, that of Dan West Jr. Dan, you had a great qualifying run, qualified 8th, had some issues during our times of green flag pit stops, and then you had a strong finish here late. First, we'll talk about the finish of this race. How was it there on that green-white checkered, and what else could you have tried to do?
It was great being able to get up from 5th to 3rd. I felt pretty good about that, but there wasn't much else I could do. I mean, if I had a couple more laps, I might have had something for Dennis. Not really sure what Cole had left, but I was just thankful to come home 3rd with how bad I messed up tonight. So.
Oh, let's talk about that mistake. How was it trying to carve your way through this field and just to get up front and have that mental fortitude knowing that you still had a lot of racing to go?
Well, fortunately, Jeff worked pretty hard. Most of us have been sick on the team, so he put the time in and built a really good set. And I felt like that we could stay with the top 3 trucks out there. And I was just kind of riding along there, right? And then messed up, ran it out of fuel. And then I missed my pit box, so I couldn't back up and had to reset. And so when you get back in there with a pack of those guys, Dennis was back there too a few times, and it's horrible, man. Those guys, I don't want to, it's not that they're horrible drivers, but it's just pack racing, like you're, at a super speedway, and these guys are all over the place.
Well, we got ourselves a week off of the truck racing action before we go to Sonoma. How are you feeling about this road course that's coming up?
I hate road courses.
Simple, easy, makes sense. Well, Dan, I know that tonight a great recovery for yourself, podium finish. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Again, back to Jeff Stabno. If it wasn't for him, I would have been running last year's set, and it wasn't very good. So we had a really good set. I ruined my, top 3 finish right now. I feel like is a win for me since what I did, but. Again, LSRTV guys are awesome. Northwest Racing Series, I appreciate everything you guys do for putting this on. Effective Web Solutions. Again, good job, Cole. Appreciate racing with you, and hell of a job. You too, Dennis. You guys are awesome.
That's going to be the 55 of Dan West Jr. coming away with a 3rd place finish here this evening. Have a nice break, Dan, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
As now we move over to 2nd place finisher, that of Dennis Moore. Kind of had a similar story of mistakes and then redemption to a 2nd place finish with that of Dennis Moore. Dennis, same questions I kind of asked Dan. What else could you thought you could have done there on that last restart? And was there anything that you could have tried to do to keep up with Cole?
I think we had a few lap pressure tires, but I mean, on restarts, you get a jump. The leader always gets a jump, but maybe a couple more laps, I don't know. But I had 11 seconds damage, so I don't think I would have held off Dan West. But I'm just happy, come through the field like Dan did. I messed up, didn't even speed on pit road entry at a sped while I was cruising down pit road. So that was just a bonehead mistake and put me a lap down, and had to hope for a caution to happen at the right time, and it did, luckily.
And once that caution came out, we saw you really carving your way through that field. Well, break it down for us. How was that dirty hair and going through that hornet's nest of the middle of this pack?
Yeah, like Dan said, it's tough back there. Everyone's so tight. It's pack racing. Everyone back there is about the same speed. You get to the top 10, everyone's same speed, but they're single file instead of racing side by side, trying to save tires or fuel, whatever it is. But all those guys are good drivers. It's just tough when you're 2 or 3 deep, too wide. So you just got to hope you keep your truck clean.
Well, you certainly was able to get up to 2nd place. Great run for yourself there, Dennis. And same question I asked Dan. How are you feeling about the upcoming race in 2 weeks at Sonoma?
I feel exactly how Dan feels. I hate road courses, but I'm going to put some laps in and see what happens. Looking forward to the week off. Put a lot of work into these sets, so road course will be different for sure. I got Paul Newton on my team, so he's going to teach me some things, hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens.
That's a strong road course driver to have on your corner. That's going to be Dennis Moore, going to be there. And Dennis, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys, LSRTV, for doing these broadcasts. It's awesome to go back and watch the race. Everyone in the Northwest Racing Series, it's, there's 10, 12 guys every single week that can win, and there's a lot of guys who haven't won yet. So it's going to be a long season. And also Beaver State Racing, Nicole Bryant Photography, and More Speed Setup Shop.
That's going to be the 44 of Dennis Moore, going to be coming away with a second-place finish here this evening. Have a nice break, and good luck heading off to Sonoma in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Sam.
As we now head to Victory Lane, where the driver that's been up front all night long, Cole Raz. And Cole, for the first part of this race, you were following Caden and following in his tracks, but what did you learn in those first stints before Caden got trapped with pit road issues that made you feel like you were going to be so comfortable up front here in the later half?
I think the big piece that I learned was just how free we were in the first half of the race. Just once the tires got worn out and we were pushing so hard in the front there, just really lost the handling of it. So made a few adjustments throughout the race when we came down pit road, and unfortunately Caden, he lost himself the race on that speeding penalty, and he had a great recovery coming back up there, and some guys in the top 5 were playing some games with him and just did not pan out for him. So overall, I mean, between the two of us leading 146 laps tonight, I say that's a big accomplishment. We worked real hard on the setup last night, and overall it's a pretty solid night.
And Cole, we're trying to do the math on fuel, on who was going to be able to make it, who wasn't, when we were getting in that long green flag stint before we got that late caution with 18 laps to go. How close were you looking on fuel if we had stayed green and those late cautions didn't come out?
Yeah, I was hoping for a yellow to come out. I was about 7 or 8 laps short. Just that yellow, first few yellows just really hurt us and threw away our strategy. And I know Justin came down pit road, and that was kind of his chance to leapfrog me and take over the lead. And so we were going to be a little short. Thankfully, that yellow did come out, and we were able to trap a lot of guys a lap down, and was able to maintain the lead there.
Well, Cole, another win. You're now the most winningest driver of the season in the truck side of things here Thursday night racing. But man, how does this win compare to the other two that you've gotten so far?
It's tough because, I really don't think, I should be the one taking home the trophy. I think Caden was the one to beat tonight. We are coming out of the same stable, and we were both on the same set for tonight, so it's bittersweet. But, I think between Charlotte last week and on Monday night, this is the 3rd win in a row for myself, and that feels pretty good. I feel like we're really hitting our stride, and hopefully to maintain that the rest of the season.
You certainly have been putting on a great show for us up here in LSR TV. Well, Cole, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, big thank you, Master Wrench, Wells Johnson, Whiskey Ridge, LSR TV, Sam, Charles Wooten, Wesley Outland, everybody that helps put this deal on, Sean, Jeff, everybody, and Caden Anderson Racing, Caden Anderson Designs, and all the fans for tuning in tonight.
That's going to be Cole Raz in the 10 machine, getting himself a victory here at Texas. Congratulations, Cole. Have a nice break, and good luck at Sonoma in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Sam.
Well, Wesley, like we noted on, had to take off, so the racing action is done. A little bit of controversy here or there, but overall, the victory goes to the 10 of Cole Raz. Well, the sparks are flying. Cole Raz going to continue to go for his winning streak. Now officially 2 here in the truck side, 3 in total, 2 in a row after last weekend. Tonight, can we see Cole Raz potentially get a road course win in Sonoma in 2 weeks? We'll have to find out. Again, Memorial Weekend, we are going to be seeing next week off for the truck series, but then in 2 weeks, we're back at Sonoma. Thank you for joining us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Dyer. Wesley Outland had to take off, and thank you for LSR TV Studios for the production, camera work, and graphics here tonight. Well, if we can't see you anymore this week, well, we hope to see you in 2 weeks for more racing action for the Northwest Truck Series. But if you want to see more racing action, it's tomorrow night. We got 2 different series. We got LTAC, NASRA, 2 great series. NASRA in the playoffs, LTAC setting up